wiser and happier. Isn't that the best combination of what anyone could desire for? To be rich, to be wise, and to be happy. So that's the title of this new book that I'm going to summarize and share some of the insights in a two-part video series. This is by William Green, released in April 21, so very fresh, sometime early this year. The beauty of this book is that it has chapters. Each chapter is dedicated to one super investor or one great investor who has consistently beaten the index, the stock market index, over a long period of time. And so it's trying to, with every chapter, find out what are some of the characteristics that these super investors have that not only make them rich, but also wise and happy. So let's go through this, and I'm going to use the notes that I took while I was reading this book. So some of the handwriting might be scrappy, so you could, if you just listen to the audio, it should make most of the sense, but the writing is also downloadable by the PDF link that's in the description of this video if you want to refer to it. So the chapter number 1 is on Mohnish Pabrai from the Pabrai funds, right? And the first chapter is all about the man who cloned Warren Buffett. So that's the title, The Man Who Cloned Warren Buffett. And so Mohnish Pabrai, he has had a very successful track record of investing, and he has set up Pabrai funds in a very similar fashion as Warren Buffett did with Berkshire Hathaway. So what are some of the key insights from Mohnish that we can learn? So one key thing in his life that influenced him the most was someone told him that your IQ is at least 180. Think about this. Your IQ is at least 180. That gave him hope. That gave him hope that, hey, I can get better from there. At least 180, meaning I can be 190. I can tomorrow be 200, right? And so he felt that people have to be told that they have something in them. And that was quite insightful. It felt quite powerful. So you and I as leaders have a lot of influence on what we say, what we speak, how we influence people. So that line really resonated to me. The other key thing that I loved about Mohnish was how he's playing this game of investment to win the game. He's not playing to be wealthy. He is going to be wealthy as part of winning the game. And so the way he's doing is his strategy is to identify the most skillful player who's already winning this game before him, and analyze them and copy them, right? Not only copy would be a very, not an appropriate word for what Mohnish has done. He's actually scaled what he's learned from some of these skillful players in a pretty big way. He's copied them, but also he's adapted and scaled that whatever he's learned in his investments and also in his nonprofit organization that is described quite in detail in the book. The other piece that I really loved about Mohnish was around how when he likes something, he really goes deep. And what I've observed is a lot of people, including myself, when we like something, we do go deep a little, but we don't really get obsessed with it and go really deep, right? There might be times wherein we like a specific topic or a subject or a type of investment style, but we don't stick with it for a long period of time. So he has a relentless ability to go deep, to focus, and he will not stop. Like when he decided he wanted to clone Berkshire Hathaway's setup that Warren Buffett had done, he went crazy deep. He read up pretty much everything that was available. He even tried to talk to Warren Buffett several times so that he could work with them, so that he could understand how they've done it. Same for his nonprofit organization, the Super 30, right? Where he got inspired by someone in Bihar on how they were training them for IIT's entrance exam. And his Dakshina Foundation, he like copied every piece, but not only copied what worked, but he actually scaled it, which requires more than copying. It requires a lot of grit to staying with it, adaptations. So the key insight is he goes deep. Once he likes it, he goes deep. And some of the guardrails that he shared around investing is he doesn't like speculation. He has very concentrated portfolio, maybe 3 to 4 holdings. As of today, he owns Micron. Around 50% of his portfolio is in Micron. Around 30% is in 20% is in Alibaba, and then 30% is in Sage growth properties, I think. So 3 portfolios are like 80, 90% plus of his portfolios. He's a concentrated bet person. And you can find a lot of these online through Dataroma or Whale Wisdom. There are many places where you can find what his holdings are. So he says when you are buying a stock, you're buying a business. So you're not speculating. It's like buying a farm. You don't buy a farm and sell a farm. And he thinks that in the long run, the stock market is a pretty wonderful place for you to make money if you know what you're doing. And how do you know if you know what you're doing? It's about margin of safeties. He says, I want to buy $1 for less than $1. So he buys assets that are available at lower than its intrinsic value that he has come up with. Even in his career, he's moved from various types of investing, from buying like low PE stocks to highly competitive and high moat companies. And he's also adapted like Warren Buffett has. And he's played very well in his circle of competence. And he likes to invest in those companies which have clear financial statements and clear and simple financial statements. And only now has like a very concentrated portfolio with which are the companies which have durable competitive advantage, meaning an ability to generate revenue for a long period of time, and management that is very honest. So he actually goes and talks to management. So those are his guardrails. And one other key really good insight from him was he looks for reasons to say no. So for the first reason he finds no, he just says, I'm not investing in this. So he looks to reject. That is his bias. His bias is, if I find one thing that is good enough for me to say no, I'm going to stop. So he's just looking to say no because he knows that most of the investments are bad investments. And so he's just looking for that one good reason to say no. One other really interesting thing about from Mohnish was the inner scorecard versus outer scorecard. Like the concept of really being honest to yourself as to what works for you, instead of constantly comparing yourself with other people. He has, I think, zero envy, because he really goes by his inner scorecard. He doesn't care about what other people think about his concentration. He doesn't care about how he dresses. He doesn't care what other people think about his schedule. He goes with what he feels is right internally. And he values that scorecard way more than external validation, which was amazing and huge. The other piece is he says, don't be in a hurry to get rich. So slowly compound. And his license plate also says 26% compounding or something like that. So he has compounded huge, much higher, almost 2x higher than the stock market index. And the other key insight was he values independence more than he values being rich, because he thinks that if you're independent, then you're much more better off, and in terms of your contentment with life, than what richness will bring after a particular point. So there's certain bare minimum amount of richness needed, after which the additional dollar will not really add too much value. And he likes to reflect daily. So that's another key insight. He spends time to cut things because he knows things get added. And every time he does something, like let's say he takes a seminar, he meets a friend, he goes out for dinner, or whatever he does, he invests in a company, he has this very deep reflecting habit where he actually asks himself, hey, was this good? Did I enjoy it? And if he doesn't like it and if he doesn't enjoy it, he will not do it, meaning he will cut it. So the key insight was around reflection. So I loved a lot of things about him in terms of how he is scaled up, cloned, adapted, and scaled what Warren Buffett has done to meet his temperament. Warren Buffett doesn't go 30% in one stock, but he's learned a lot about value investing from Warren Buffett. He set up his fund and fees according to how Berkshire Hathaway did in the early days. He's scaled up his nonprofit organization in a way that worked really well for one of the Super 30 person in India. So I really liked his inner scorecard. I really liked his the top three are the inner scorecard versus outer scorecard. I really like his focus. When he likes something, he goes deep, right? And I like the fact that he's going after those people who have figured it out for a long period of time, and he's trying to make it even better from there. So this is Mohnish Pabrai. I actually wanted to do a two-part videos, but looks like I'm going to do one video per chapter because this is already like 10 plus minutes, and I wanted to just give enough due diligence on each of these chapters so that I can share some of those insights. So chapter 1, Mohnish Pabrai. Thanks.